In this video, you'll see how a police officer ignored an elderly woman's pleas for help, leading to her tragic death in the patrol car.
I can't breathe. I can't.
And next you will see how a cop reacts when he realizes he has killed an innocent suspect. A single wrong decision by a police officer can have devastating consequences, sometimes even costing innocent lives. In this episode, we'll examine 5 cases where officers made fatal errors in judgment. The first case involves a group of police officers who not only disrespected a war hero, but did something unthinkable to his loyal dog, leaving many outraged.
Call your dog off! Turn around. Record this! Turn around, sir.
It all began in October 2021 in Gastonia, North Carolina. A police team was dispatched after receiving a report about someone allegedly begging for money. Although not illegal everywhere, Gastonia's municipal laws classify panhandling as a crime, so officers were sent to investigate. Upon arrival, they found Joshua Rora, a disabled homeless war veteran, standing with his service dog. They saw a driver hand Joshua some money and immediately assumed he had been begging. However, this wasn't the case. Joshua hadn't asked the driver for anything. The money was offered to him as a gesture of kindness. Despite this, the police officer saw the situation differently.
Now you see we got a sergeant and multiple units on their way out here. And I can almost guarantee you it's not going to go the way you want it to go.
As Joshua attempted to explain himself, the officer dismissed his words, escalating the situation. Joshua, trying to avoid further trouble, requested to speak with a supervisor, but things only worsened from there. The sergeant insisted Joshua had committed a crime and claimed it wasn't his first offense.
Oh, just out with him. I told him he couldn't be on the median.
Yeah, and that's why I was packing my stuff up.
Walk out to a car to get money.
Yeah, I saw him at Circle K the other day with a car.
So now he's refusing to give me his ID because I'm going to write him a
She's trying to write me a ticket because I was walking up this, packing up. She told me to pack up.
I told
and
you,
I was
I
literally
believe-
walking up my
listen,
road. People
you-
give me money without me asking. I don't have to
because let me tell you, because you're not a lawyer, you can get one, but I can tell you how the law works. Listen,
like you told me
I just want you to know, you can go to jail for this ordinance. If you continue to argue with officers, you're going to go to jail, and we are going to call animal control for your dog. You got it? You cannot be here.
That's fine. I told her I was
Okay,
leaving.
and I interpreted you asking for money because you're
Yeah,
like
that
this.
is-
And
that-
you
you
walk
can't-
out to the car.
You're writing me a ticket for a
Can we
crime
get
I
your
didn't
ID?
commit.
Can we get your ID?
Dude, I didn't commit this crime.
But you're also in the median after I've told you not to be here before.
And that's why I was vacating, because she asked me to leave.
Desperate to defend himself, Joshua insisted he had done nothing wrong, but his pleas fell on deaf ears. When the sergeant demanded Joshua present his ID, his hesitation angered the officer, who then made the decision to arrest him, setting off a chain of events that would forever change Joshua's life.
Turn around. You're being arrested.
Whoa, what
You're under
for,
arrest.
dude?
Turn around.
Are you kidding me?
Turn around.
You
Turn
don't
around.
see this?
Turn around.
Somebody help me!
Turn around.
Hey, what are you doing?
Turn around.
What are you doing? Mama!
Hey!
What are you
Hey!
doing?
Call your dog off. Call your dog off. Call your dog off. Call your dog off. Call your dog off.
In a panic, Joshua began screaming desperately, unsure of what to do. His loyal dog Sunshine, sensing the distress, stayed close, jumping onto the police car in an attempt to protect him. The situation escalated when the sergeant, without hesitation, fired a taser at the dog. This act only further highlighted the officer's misjudgment. Joshua, a war veteran who suffered from severe panic attacks, relied on Sunshine, his service dog, to calm him in these moments of extreme anxiety. Despite this, the officers treated both Joshua and his dog with hostility. As the taser hit Sunshine, the terrified animal bolted in fear. Joshua, overwhelmed with panic, was thrown to the ground by the officers as they forcefully attempted to handcuff him.
Why are you doing this? I haven't done anything.
Witnesses familiar with Joshua's presence on the streets quickly gathered, outraged at what they were seeing. Their anger only intensified when they realized the officers had tased Joshua's service dog, who was trained to help him in his time of need.
Okay, we're doing what we have to do.
Tased my dog.
We have to do our
Here's
job.
the thing. Y'all didn't see the whole story, so just back up.
You didn't either. You're harassing me.
Right now. Really think me not.
Thank you, I need your information. Somebody please help me, they're trying to kidnap me. I don't know what they do with Sunshine. Where's my dog? Sunshine Ray.
Trying to justify his actions, the sergeant claimed Sunshine had attempted to attack one of the officers and was about to bite. But those who knew Joshua and his gentle dog knew the truth. This was a tragic misunderstanding fueled by a false accusation of begging and supposed resistance.
But when we're trying to detain the owner, of course the dog's going to, and I asked him to call his dog off. The dog got on the hood of the car and the dog began barking. The dog initially barked and bit my boot, but it didn't break my boot. I did not want this dog to bite my partner, you understand?
As Sunshine fled, the story took an even darker turn. Moments later, the beloved dog was struck by a vehicle and killed, leaving Joshua devastated. The emotional bond between Joshua and Sunshine was deep, and the loss pushed him to a breaking point. In the days that followed, as he sat in jail, the weight of losing his only companion became unbearable. Consumed by grief and despair, Joshua attempted to take his own life. Next, this officer was haunted by guilt when he realized what he has done with an innocent. In the incident that started similarly, 2 officers spotted a man with a pistol on his waist and decided to check it out. As they approached, the suspect fled into a nearby house.
Put your hands up! Don't focus, you mad at me! Put your hands up!
The officers had a choice: wait for backup and surround the house, ensuring a safer resolution, or rush in and take immediate action. Unfortunately, they chose the latter. Although they managed to corner the suspect, he still had his weapon, escalating the danger.
Let it go, let it go. Let it go! Let it go! Let it go! Let the go! No! Yes. Let it go!
Out there on his own.
No, let the damn gun go, boy!
No, I ain't going back in there.
Put your hands.
No.
Let the gun go! Let it go!
No.
Let it go!
Let the gun go for they kill your ass.
No! Stop! No! Don't shoot! Don't!
Suddenly, the sound of gunshots rang out, and the unfortunate happened.
Shots fired! To what? Shots fired! Emergency! Emergency! Ah!
The suspect had fired the first shot, but the police returned fire, killing him. Though the officers acted to defend themselves, one was overwhelmed with guilt, believing they could have handled the situation differently. He rushed to the patrol car for first aid, desperate to help. But before he could act, other officers arrived and removed him from the scene, seeing he was too shaken to continue. In the aftermath, no one, except the suspect, was harmed.
Yes.
He didn't shoot you.
No.
He didn't shoot you, though. No. Just check to make sure, because that round went off. That wasn't you or him. That's what I'm saying. That didn't. You're okay, right?
Block the traffic at 111 and racing.
But the emotional toll weighed heavily on the officers involved, particularly the one who realized too late that a different decision might have saved a life. In the chaos that followed, the officers acted swiftly, removing the shaken officer's bulletproof vest to check for injuries. The most experienced officer stayed behind to support him, while the rest worked to control the situation. The incident's recording was interrupted, but official reports later revealed the grim outcome. Louis Gordon, the suspect, was rushed to the hospital, but was pronounced dead at the scene. Despite efforts to revive him on the way to the hospital, it was too late. Meanwhile, the 2 police officers who had been in the chase suffered only minor bruises, but were visibly shaken. They were removed from field duty for 30 days to recover, both physically and mentally. But what happens when the police's mistakes leave innocent people traumatized? Such a tragic error occurred in February 2016. The police were searching for a man named Michael Clay, who had an outstanding arrest warrant. They spotted someone who matched his description and moved in to apprehend him.
What's your name? Well, we probably need to talk to you.
24 Charlie, one, be a master meeting.
Stand up. Stand up. Turn around, put your hands in the car. Turn around, put your hands in the car.
What I do? Man, what I do? Y'all ain't telling me what I do, man.
Dude, you got a warrant, dude. You got a warrant.
He just came back from his probation. He came back from my probation officer.
Get your hand off the wheel.
I got
bad for you.
No, man. Hey, Jack.
I got a taser.
Back up, man.
Back
You got a taser? No.
Yeah, I got it.
Alright, taser.
That coming up?
As they approached, the young man became nervous, which only heightened the officers' suspicions. Though the man hesitated to confirm his identity, the police insisted he was their suspect and pressed on with their arrest, escalating the situation. Unbeknownst to them, they were making a grave mistake. The young man, despite his protests, was innocent, and the police had to show the arrest warrant. He showed no signs of posing any danger, but the officers aggressively removed him from his vehicle, overstepping their boundaries in their attempts to restrain him.
Put your hands on the car. I'm getting up, man.
Come out.
Show me the warrant.
Two. Alright, taser.
In their haste, the officers resorted to using a taser, forcibly subduing the man. But when they finally checked his documents, they realized the horrifying truth. They had the wrong person.
The scene is fucking lady.
Patrick Mumford.
This lady's not gonna tell me that I got a warrant. I just seen her.
The man they had unjustly arrested was not Michael Clay, but Patrick Mumford, who had been telling the truth all along.
Because you look a lot like the person we're looking
Oh,
for.
man, y'all is hell. Ow!
Alright, well, that one's self.
Okay. Who does he look a lot like? He knows who it is. Michael?
He is not Michael.
Okay, I know that now. But when I walk up there and ask him,
My name's Patrick. No.
This error could have been easily avoided with a simple verification of identity. Instead, the police subjected an innocent man to unnecessary violence and trauma, and in the aftermath of their mistake, the right thing to do would have been to apologize rather than this.
okay, are we wrong?
You're not
And
wrong.
he doesn't want to give us his ID.
Why you just didn't cooperate? Shut up! Just shut up! Just shut up! I'm pissed.
You said my name's Patrick?
That's my name.
Michael, Pat, whatever. The both of y'all got my blood pressure up to here. What has my son done now?
Your son has a warrant.
For what?
I
For
just
here?
not know it's out of somewhere else. It's in Georgia.
Yeah, but okay, but
Right. He said Patrick, but when we asked for ID to confirm it, that's when he
started. Yeah. And if everything's on video, okay, it's not like we came up here just saying, hey, we're gonna jack you up, okay? Okay. When I have someone in a car that looks like they have a warrant, I'm not going to play the hanky-panky game of teetering around. And when
As the situation unfolded, Patrick's mother, a strong presence, intervened, witnessing the entire ordeal, becoming one of two key witnesses to the unprovoked assault by the officers. What the police officers hadn't anticipated was that these very recordings of the incident would come back to haunt them. Just days after the incident, Patrick and his family filed a lawsuit against the police department, seeking justice for the mistreatment he endured. The officers attempted to defend themselves in court, arguing that Patrick had obstructed their investigation. However, the video evidence told a different story, clear and damning. In the end, the state was forced to settle with Patrick for a hefty amount, and the officers had to publicly apologize for their actions. They were also removed from their positions, their reputations tarnished by their misconduct. But as shocking as this case was, the next one turned out to be even more tragic. Because this time, a woman paid with her life due to a police mistake.
you've been medically cleared, so let's get in.
What's the matter now?
This case involved Sergeant Brandon and officers Tim and Adam, who were called to a hospital to deal with a woman named Lisa Edwards. Lisa had been discharged by the hospital's doctors, but refused to leave the premises.
Okay, Miss Edwards, they said you have already talked to the doctor. You listen to me, I'm talking. You've already talked to the doctor. You've already been discharged from the hospital. I'm talking. I understand you say you got some problems going on. You're going to have to find a way to get out of here. Okay? I don't want this to turn into a situation where you have to go to jail. Well, they said that you've been checked. The doctors have discharged you. You have no reason to be here. Well, if the medical professionals have saw you and discharged you,
they won't.
But you got to get going.
I can't even get down there.
You're going to have to figure out a way.
When the officers arrived, they initially assumed she was homeless, trying to avoid being out on the streets for the night. But their assumption was dangerously incorrect. Lisa wasn't simply trying to stay at the hospital. She was still severely unwell, a fact that became more apparent as they approached her.
You've been medically cleared, so let's get in.
Like this now. I can't use the break.
Yes, ma'am, you're going to have to get in.
My ankle. I can't breathe. Hey, right.
But you need to get in there.
My ankle.
Instead of offering further medical care, they decided to take her to the police station. Lisa, struggling with her health, was placed in the back seat of the police car, but she never made it to the station. As the police car sped toward its destination, with the windows closed and no attention given to her condition, Lisa grew increasingly desperate. She tried to call for help from the back seat, but her pleas were ignored.
Open it. Please open it. Open it. I can't say it like this. I can't say it like this. Open the door. Open the door. Please open it. I can't breathe. I can't.
To make matters even worse, the officer driving the car made an unnecessary stop along the way to issue a ticket to another driver. It wasn't until the officer returned to the car that he realized the gravity of his mistake. Lisa was unresponsive in the back seat. Panic set in as he radioed for emergency medical assistance.
I don't know, she's not responding back here. Hey! Hey! 41 Bravo. Can you start me at 47 here emergency, please? For a different incident. Hey, come on, sit up!
But by then it was too late. Lisa had suffered a stroke, and despite the arrival of an ambulance, she lost her life shortly after. Lisa's family, devastated by the preventable tragedy, filed a lawsuit against the police department. The officers involved in the case faced severe penalties, and this incident became a glaring reminder of how one small error in judgment can cost an innocent person their life. Despite the fact that Lisa Edwards lost her life while in police custody, the consequences for those involved were shockingly lenient. Brandon Ward was demoted from sergeant to officer. Officer Tim, who had been responsible for transporting Lisa, faced only a 10-day suspension without pay, and Officer Adam Barnett received a mere 4-day suspension. To many, these penalties seemed insignificant, given that their actions contributed to a tragic death. However, the truth is, the doctors who discharged Lisa in poor condition were also deeply responsible. But what happens when a police officer believes he's above the law and tries to arrest another officer for doing his job? This tale of corruption reached its peak on June 24, 2022, in Hiawassee, Georgia, where a routine traffic stop took a dark turn. It began when Sergeant James spotted a reckless driver speeding dangerously and nearly causing a crash. He pursued the vehicle into a neighboring town, where he finally managed to pull it over.
What's your hurry? You're very recklessly from the city all the way here, man. In and out of traffic, not using turn signal. Man, I watched you. It took me this long to catch up to you.
I'm sorry.
You were 70 plus.
I gotta get my medication.
You gonna try to keep people over medication?
No, well, it helps with my...
The driver offered a weak excuse. He needed to pick up his medication, but this only fueled Sergeant James's anger. Medication or not, nothing justified endangering the lives of others. And Sergeant James made sure the driver understood the gravity of his reckless actions. The sergeant, after issuing the citation to the reckless driver, was suddenly confronted by an officer who was not there to support him, but to challenge his authority. The new officer, who turned out to be from the sheriff's department, immediately questioned the sergeant's decision to issue a ticket in his jurisdiction. What began as a tense conversation quickly escalated into a heated argument.
If you have any questions, show up for court, okay? If you would, sign right here. It's not a mission to get.
As soon as the sheriff approached the driver and learned where the ticket was issued, his frustration boiled over. Instead of focusing on the reckless driver, the sheriff directed his anger at the sergeant, making it clear that this wasn't about upholding the law. It was about asserting dominance.
Go pull the video at Valero. You get on my traffic stop again, I will arrest you.
Yeah, I'll arrest you.
Do it, buddy.
Go for it.
Do it. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Everybody.
Thank you.
The confrontation became personal as both officers began exchanging insults. At one point, the argument reached such a fever pitch that they even threatened to arrest each other. This chaotic display of internal conflict between law enforcement officers was not only unprofessional but downright dangerous, as it diverted attention from the actual issue at hand: public safety. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's episode, you won't want to miss what's next. Go ahead and choose one of the videos on your screen, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful episode. See you in the next video.